Battle Through the Heavens, Grand World. Chapter 169 Golden Emperor Phoenix Sky Flame Xiao Tianyi. The fragrance of sandalwood lingered in the ancient hall, and the layout was simple and not lacking in atmosphere. The layout was magnificent. Mysterious patterns were engraved on the walls. Several black dragon pillars stood in the middle of the ancient hall. The huge dragon on them raised its head and looked at the sky. It seemed like it was going to soar into the sky. Around the hall, nearly 100 seats were arranged in a row at the end of the ancient hall. On the white jade steps was a huge throne, with the head of the throne at the bottom. A large seat was placed at the head of many seats, facing the door. Xiao Yan, who had entered the ancient hall, glanced at the ancient hall from the corner of his eye and then looked ahead. Under the huge throne, there was a thin old man sitting leisurely on the throne. The old man was wearing a green robe and had a few strands of beard. He looked like a transcendent being. His eyes were slightly narrowed as he looked at Xiao Yan, who was standing in front of him. The old man just sat there and his ki rushed towards Xiao Yan like a mountain. Xiao Yan was startled and his face turned extremely pale. Even with the prestige power spell, there was still a huge pressure pressing down on him. This old man was definitely stronger than anyone he had seen before. Naturally, Teacher Yi and Nether Imperial Consort Satsuma were not among them. You are Xiao Yan, a descendant of the Xiao clan who had broken through to the Fighting Ki continent. After a while, the old man retracted his boundless ki. When he saw Xiao Yan's pale face holding on, a trace of surprise flashed across his face. Then, he asked with a smile. Although his voice was soft, it was as if Xiao Yan had heard a thunderous sound, causing his heart to tremble. He didn't dare to have any distracting thoughts in his heart. After adjusting his mood, Xiao Yan let out a breath. He looked at the old man and said in a low voice. Xiao Yan of the Xiao clan of Fighting Ki continent greets the great elder. After saying that, he clasped his hands together and bowed deeply to the old man. A bright light flashed across the old man's eyes when he heard that. After that, he said with a smile, the Xiao clan of Fighting Ki continent is a branch of the Xiao clan in the great world. We are all members of the Xiao clan, so why should we talk about it? The old man smiled helplessly when he saw Xiao Yan remain silent. Then, he tapped the armrest of the chair with his finger. He looked at Xiao Yan and said in a solemn voice, "We'll talk about this later. Tell me first, the reason why Fighting Ki continent hasn't broken through to the Fighting Monarch realm in 10,000 years. Xiao Yan pondered for a moment. Without hiding anything, he told the old man everything about 9 Nether Monarch bug in the Fighting Monarch realm. Of course, the last thing he said was that the 9 Profound Golden Thunder and the Xiao Yi had merged into one. He only said that the last few people would try their best to kill 9 Nether Monarch bug. What? A Fighting Monarch level insect? After hearing Xiao Yan's words, the old man's calm expression changed, and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They had thought of all kinds of scenarios, but they had never thought that a tiny insect could block the advancement of dozens of fighting monarchs. No, that's not right. It's impossible for other creatures to appear in that spatial zone. That 9 Nether Monarchs bug is definitely not a natural being. While sighing, the old man suddenly frowned. He looked at Xiao Yan and spoke coldly. Seeing Xiao Yan's calm expression, the old man's frown gradually eased up. He lowered his head and pondered for a moment, then finally raised his head to look at Xiao Yan. He said word by word, "It seems that 9 Nether Monarch bug's appearance has offended the great world." He let out a long sigh and met Xiao Yan's puzzled gaze. The old man smiled bitterly and said, "You should have heard about it from Xiao Wang. A million years ago, during the chaos of the great world, many families of the great world, all the sects had invested their souls into the Fighting Ki continent, so I guess that 9 Nether Monarchs bug is the soul body that some family of the great world had sent down to the Fighting Ki continent. After floating in the Fighting Monarch for a million years, there was a sudden change. He became 9 Nether Monarchs bug just now." Xiao Yan's heart shook when he heard this. After that, he furrowed his brows and said, "Is there a family like 9 Nether Monarchs bug in this great world?" A strange soul body had actually caused the Fighting Ki continent to have a lot of fighting monarchs to stay at the last step. It had almost caused the Fighting Ki continent to completely decline. It was not an exaggeration to say that 9 Nether Monarch bug was the enemy of the entire Fighting Ki continent. If possible, Xiao Yan would like to find this family to discuss things with them when his strength improved in the future. The old man closed his eyes and thought for a while, then slowly shook his head and said, "According to what I have seen and heard over the years, I have never heard of 9 nether monarchs bug. However, there are a lot of beasts in the spirit domain, perhaps there might be." After saying that, the old man looked at Xiao Yan and said with a strange look in his eyes, "When you came in just now, that flame." Xiao Yan frowned and looked at the smiling expression of the old man. He nodded his head probingly and said, "That's right, it's the Chaos Great Monarch flame. When I was in the lower realm, I was fortunate enough to collect some strange flames. After I came to the Great World, I accidentally evolved into a Chaos Great Monarch flame." When the old man heard this, he was stunned. He smiled and nodded, saying, "That's right. You're really lucky, little fellow. Even if an ordinary person possesses great strength, they won't be able to obtain the Monarch flame without that kind of luck. Although this Chaos Great Monarch flame is ranked at the bottom of the Monarch flame ranking, if it's used appropriately, it can be considered a killing technique." After that, the old man suddenly stood up and came to Xiaoyan's side. He stroked his long beard and said with a mysterious smile, "Speaking of Monarch flame, my Xiao clan also has one. Do you want to see it?" Xiao Yan was shocked at first, but he calmed down after hearing what the old man said. With the formidable strength of the Xiao clan, it was reasonable for them to obtain a Monarch flame. Xiao Yan nodded his head. After that, Great Elder slowly raised his hand and drew a circle in the air. In the next moment, a transparent mirror suddenly appeared in the space in front of him. In the mirror, there was a ball of golden flame burning fiercely. Xiao Yan fixed his eyes on it. Even though it was just a projection, this ball of golden flame still gave people a sense of fear, as if the temperature of ancient hall had increased by a lot. The golden flame was burning slowly. In Xiaoyan's eyes, the flame gradually turned into the shape of a little phoenix. The 2 flaming wings were flapping gently, and the neck was raised high, as if it was roaring towards the sky. This ball of flame gave Xiaoyan a feeling that it was extremely hot. He had a feeling that the power of his Chaos Great Monarch flame and the 3000 Lightning Monarch flame combined into a flame was not even comparable to this phoenix's flame. This flame is called the Golden Emperor Heavenly Phoenix Flame. It is ranked 22nd on the Monarch flame. 300 years ago, the patriarch of Xiao clan discovered and captured it in battle domain. However, all these years, the Xiao clan could only try to use it. Unfortunately, even the patriarch of Xiao clan couldn't control it. Why? Looking at the Golden Emperor Heavenly Phoenix flame in the sky, Xiao Yan couldn't help but feel curious. With the heaven-defying strength of the patriarch, how could he not subdue a monarch flame ranked 22nd? The monarch flame is a sacred item. How can a sacred item be controlled so easily? You have to remember that every sacred item isn't something you can fully control, even if the Golden Emperor Heavenly Phoenix flame is only a part of the sacred item. The Great Elder stood beside Xiao Yan, looking at the Golden Emperor Phoenix Heavenly Flame and could only let out a long sigh. Why is there a stone in this flame's Emperor Fire source? Xiao Yan, who was carefully looking at the Golden Emperor Phoenix Heavenly Flame, was stunned. He saw the belly of the little golden phoenix, which was roaring towards the sky. There was a wisp of pure golden flame in this wisp of golden flame. In this wisp of golden flame, an oval-shaped purple rock was quietly sitting inside. Even though it was said that the temperature of the monarch flame was the highest among all of the Emperor Fire source, this rock was still safe and sound. This was a long time ago. After the founder of the Xiao clan, the old ancestor Xiao Taiqing, reached a level that surpassed the saint level, he roamed the various regions. He found it by chance in the star sky, but the old ancestor had spent his entire life trying to figure out what it was. However, based on the old man's senses, he felt that this thing was definitely not simple. In the end, the old ancestor finally sensed something. He guessed that it contained signs of life. After the old ancestor disappeared, this spirit stone was left in the Xiao clan, and it hadn't moved for 1,000,000 years. Until more than 300 years ago, when the current clan chief brought back the Golden Emperor Phoenix Heavenly Flame. This spirit stone suddenly entered and never came out again. The clan chief's control over the Golden Emperor Phoenix Heaven Flame also instantly weakened. After nagging for a long time, the Great Elder seemed to have thought of something and said, When the old ancestor sensed that there were signs of life in this spirit stone, he suddenly became interested and bestowed this spirit stone with the name Xiaotianyi. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.